Hi, it's Danny Beck. I've got a web channel looking at the wisdom of Jesus in the gospel and the parables. Parables, believe, are two stories in one. They're a pair of fables with one telling. But you have to see for yourself what I'm talking about. Jesus told a parable about a rich man who had a steward. And he doesn't say, there was a rich man who had a steward that was wasting the rich man's money. Instead, it starts off, there was a certain rich man who had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his money. And so you kind of have a wordage that's it's a little bizarre. Maybe it means the same thing, but maybe it could mean something else. Like there was an accusation that the rich man's money was being wasted, or there was an accusation that one of them had wasted his money, or that the steward was actually telling the rich man, "Hey, you're wasteful with your money." What we don't know exactly precisely, but as you read into the story, it develops that the rich man says, and he says, make an account for, or you may no longer be steward. And so what the steward does is he goes around to the debtors, which was what his business, his job description was to handle the debts and deal with the debtors. And he went down around to the debtors and he reduced their debts in order for them to become friends with him, so that if he lost his job, then perhaps they would take him in and treat him well. Now, all of this has to do with a parallel kind of, of the importance of in business that you treat your customers fairly, and you treat them so that you have long-term relationships with them, and that's an intelligent way to handle business. And when you work on the relationships, the long term, so that somebody else doesn't come along and steal your customers away from you. At any rate, um, I attempted to draw that example out of this parable and say that the steward was telling the rich man, "Hey, you're wasteful with your money," and I presented it on another person's website, saying, this parable makes more sense to see that the accusation of being wasteful was made by the steward about the rich man, and I used the example of the parable of the workers in the vineyard, where the workers in the vineyard all got paid a penny, even the ones that worked 1 hour in the vineyard. They all received a penny, and I said, "Well, the rich man told the vineyard owner told his servant, his steward, pay the last ones that worked last, pay them first, and pay them all a penny." So I just said, "Hey, what if it was the same steward in the vineyard story that was?" That was mentioned as being this steward who was accused in the rich man of wasting his money, because it could be a valid point. And I was told that, hey, the parables do not are not to be intermixed with each other. And I just find it hard to believe, because there's so many times where he starts a parable, he says, "The kingdom of heaven is like unto." The kingdom of heaven is like. The kingdom of heaven is like. And he tells these different stories. And so, how in the world could these stories not weave together into a meaningful presentation where he's talking to a multitude of people? Most people think that these parables are all little individual shotgun kind of statements, and that they're not woven together in a nice flowing um, presentation, if you will, that would hold the attention of a multitude of people, 5,000 people at a time. And each one of these parables nowadays, a preacher takes an hour, 2 hours to look at each different parable, to unpack it. And Jesus was telling these parables one after another, uh, and how in the world could the could the people of his time extrapolate the message that it takes our scholars, you know, an hour per little parable to unfold and to get the meaning out of. Um, the the story of the steward who did not waste the rich man's goods, but the rich man was afraid that if he felt like if the steward felt like the rich man was being wasteful, then how was the steward treating his other business people? Was he overcharging them? That was the main thing, and of course it probably was, and that's the point of that when he needed friends, he was more than fair to the business partners of the rich man. But when it wasn't important to him, he wanted to increase the rich man's bottom line and make him wealthy at the expense of his relationships with his business partners, his business associates, and that's bad business. At any rate, um, hope this has been entertaining to you. Like my channel, make a comment if you will, um, and share it. Thank you very much for having a great day.